Operation, a pixel pollination. Pixel pollination. Operation, a pixel pollination. Operation. Find the inspiration. Pixel pollination. A pixel pollination.
Hinged, to be honest, and seeing them add to the utility of Bitcoin has been absolutely wonderful. And just seeing that it's kind of spurring a lot of other creation on the chain is very heartwarming and full of promise as well. So, as someone that's always been highly critical of Bitcoin's scalability and longevity, without more utility, and also just how slow it is, this is nothing but happiness for me to see it actually start getting some well-deserved attention on the technical side. What is up, long shots?
What is going on, GMGM? How are we doing this morning?
Pumping myself full of coffee and nicotine. Yourself?
Doing good. Getting the YouTube stream posted at the bottom here, and yeah, about to get it all shared around Discord and the whole 9 yards as usual. Just had some pretty decent Chick-fil-A though. I'll say that much.
I'm going to say it. Here in Japan, one thing that I was not prepared for is the quality of KFC chicken. Whenever I tell you that KFC is viewed as like a delicacy, I mean it. It is extremely high quality fried chicken. And one thing here that I've heard about and I've seen on like TV or whatever is that it's a KFC is for Christmas. That is like an actual like countrywide tradition, really, where once Christmas rolls around, KFC gets flooded with the people ordering bucket after. You have to literally like pre-order yours, and because it will literally like you won't be able to get anything if you don't on that day. Like people pre-order.
Wow, that is dedication right there. Is what I'd call that.
It's good fried chicken. That's what that is.
I guess so. It must be if you're waiting in line, Christmas Eve, trying to get like a what's it called, Black Friday or Cyber Monday, kind of like that, but for fried chicken.
Yeah, and it's worth it. I'll tell you right now, man. Shit, just like their McDonald's, their KFC is on a different level.
Yeah, I guess so. No, but seriously though, the McDonald's that I've seen out there, and compared to to what's around here, it's ridiculous. Just the different quality and food. I truly believe that our government is now trying to kill me just with
Dude, I'm gonna be real with you. You could eat like anything you wanted over here, just like whatever, eat out every day, and it would be a struggle for you to gain weight or be unhealthy. Eat at 7-Eleven for a year here, and you might be in really good health. Eat at 7-Eleven for a year in America, you're probably dead, or at least, violently ill.
It's getting to that point. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. But what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining. We're doing Web3 news, art and news updates, also open discussion. If you guys want to come up here on stage, just request. We'll get you up right away so you can join in on some of the conversation. And for about the next 5 minutes, just enjoy the random banter that you're about to hear. So great. When's the next time you're planning on climbing Fuji?
And actually, like, I think about like 6 months or so. I have no idea.
I'm
like around.
Are you doing it?
Time zone?
You're doing another overnight one where you go up there,
Yeah.
hike it. Oh, that's crazy. That's also some dedication. I don't think I would definitely do a daytime one, but like an all night hike up a mountain, that just doesn't sound like a fantastic time.
Seeing the sunrise whenever you're on the top of Mount Fuji is a whole other experience. It's, you know, you're seeing it outline all of Japan behind you and surrounding you. It's beautiful. And yeah, there's also.
So you're telling me we can't like hike up the day before, bring enough equipment and materials and whatnot for an overnight camping trip, and then not have to deal with hiking up through the middle of the night.
You can't use like a tent.
That seems that seems like an excess. They're like, okay. I mean, either way, it's incredibly.
No, there's not enough room. There's not, like, the hike up is.
There's not like flat land to really.
No. Yeah. The only time that you're really like experiencing any sort of flat land like that is at the top. Like there's the area that you have to hike up to get to the top is usually only about 2 people wide.
And I couldn't just throw my tent up on the top. You could just.
Once you get to the top, then no, you are not allowed to do that. That is against the law.
I think I'd still might try. Either way, incredibly cool, man. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward because the weather's starting to change around here. So I'm really looking forward to the things switching up for a little bit and being able to go out and do some hiking again. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's right around the corner there. But yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess we're ready to get into this here a little bit. Jarrett, you want to take it?
Yeah, no, there's actually some real life art updates involving the famed Mona Lisa in the Louvre. So the Louvre has actually been looking to rehouse the Mona Lisa in its complete own room underground. There, a whole special room to make sure that the entire experience of the Mona Lisa is pretty much optimized. And it's French art enthusiasts and specialists, historians, and everything like that. They're like, look, like right now, the Mona Lisa is trapped behind bulletproof glass. Its lighting is okay, and it's extremely crowded. So they kind of wanted to make a whole room specialized for it to make sure it's not detracting from the entire other Louvre experience, while simultaneously, for people that want to really appreciate the Mona Lisa, it is in a room that's actually like able to complement and provide proper lighting to where people can really see it behind the thick glass and all of the different other tourists that really want to crowd around it. A quote from it is, I place it at the heart of my mission as the director to better welcome the public, and it's always frustrating when our visitor experience is not quite up to par, as in the case, obviously, with the Mona Lisa, as Descartes in the France Inter interview on Friday. So in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, we are thinking about making necessary improvements. This honestly, I've never been to Louvre. I really plan on going to the Louvre one day so I can really like experience the beauty of it all. I mean, it's literally a bunker turned art museum. How cool can that, like how cool can you get on that? Um, but for people that have been there or haven't been there, I'm going to just describe the experience of the Mona Lisa right now, just so you can like put in your head what its current state. It is behind an absolutely massive and thick pane of bulletproof glass. You have to be standing roughly about like 15 feet away to view it. It is on this huge wall in the middle of this big, like almost like huge room in the center of it. And there's a huge slab of wood underneath it, like a podium or something like that. And then there's another huge wooden guardrail that kind of goes semicircle, protecting it as well. So there's a lot of buffer zone between you and the painting. So what they're wanting to do is, instead of having this massive group of people that are like constantly crowding around this and focusing on this while other artistic pieces are there, they're like, hey, we need to move somewhere else, give this some breathing room, and really make sure that this is an experience that everybody can thoroughly enjoy. Their renovation budget just for this is about 500 million euros, which is about like 535 million US dollars. So they right now they're saying that it could be affected by French budget cuts at the state level, but that's still quite a lot just for to really focus on that, which I'm happy for. Honestly, it's truly one of those things where I think that they're giving it the proper love and care it deserves. Now, if there's a little bit more insight on some other really cool art news that we're to look into, it's actually about Salvador Dali and his lobster phone and AI. So there is as anybody knows about Salvador Dali, he had a kind of an obsession with lobsters in some of his works or some of his photography and even in his not self in his like portraits and everything like this. And there is a pretty neat thing that they did regarding the AI that was built to literally replicate Salvador Dali. You can go to the museum, the Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida, and pick up this rotary phone, but the phone itself thing is a lobster, and ask it questions. And there's a screen in front of it, and the Salvador Dali AI will literally answer your questions. So it's been a huge, almost like a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's whenever like you go around to like holy sites almost. What is that word I'm thinking of? Pilgrimage.
There
we go.
I was gonna say crusade, but I was thinking much differently.
Yes, but it's been part of a pilgrimage for any sort of Salvador Dali lovers to go to it and ask, why are the clocks melting? What is the meaning of life? How did your art become this weird? All this kind of stuff. Apparently, a lot of people have really gotten kind of into detail about like the meaning of life and his life and how he thought about why we're alive, why we're here, why create art. And so it's a lot of really philosophical questions, which honestly I think is extremely fitting for hardcore Salvador Dali lovers to kind of dive into the ethos of existence. But it is a nice little marriage between AI and classic art. I mean, imagine if we could really have these AI ghosts almost there to answer these questions from artists that are still alive. Imagine an artist helping in the creation of its own ghost for whenever they're dead to help people ask it questions or to give commentary on things. I think that that's something that is equally cool and also terrifying at the same time. So either way, I think that it's going to be a cool experience. What's up?
Did they say why they made it a lobster phone? Is that is that even mentioned?
Oh, well, the lobster part of it is kind of just with Salvador Dali.
Just a nod to the work. I see.
Yeah, just
I
a
see.
nod. Yeah,
Interesting.
that's it.
My thing with these is the training data used. I truly do wonder where they get a lot of it from, because back when custom GPTs launched on OpenAI, I created a Robert Williams, right? I'm sorry. What was the comedian? He committed suicide. He was on
Robin
many
Williams.
shows. Robin Williams, yes, Robin Williams. I don't know why I was thinking Robert, but yeah, Robin Williams AI bot that you could talk to, and it mimicked his mannerisms and speech patterns and things like that. And it got reported so many times that it actually had to be removed from the OpenAI source software. So I'm not sure. I'm sure there's all sorts of different conflicting opinions about this. I definitely have my own opinions about almost like playing God and bringing people back through technology. But I mean, if it's possible and it's done ethically, I could see it being very useful in certain senses, hopefully not in any educational sense, but who knows where these things will go. It is crazy to see this stuff happen, though. I will say that.
I actually am on the opposite end on that one, especially whenever it comes to educational. I think that if we were to immortalize some of the brains that we have access to through AI, and this, and truthfully, whenever I say this, I think that these undertakings would not be taken lightly. You're talking about people with vast understandings of complicated subjects that could help future generations. Not every single intelligent person that has the mind of a generation, is a prolific is a prolific artist or a prolific author. So they're not writing down every single one of their profound thoughts and insights to everything. So it would be neat to see, like, let's say if there was the modern day equivalent to a Nikola Tesla or Einstein, right? And they spent from today to the day they died, just as an ongoing project, training an AI to think and act and produce like them. I'm talking about decades of information sunk into it. That would be amazing.
Yeah, but okay, but my thing is with the source data, especially with the Salvador Dali, is they weren't able to speak to him at all.
Yes.
They weren't able, and as far as I know, he wasn't the largest writer. I'm sure there are texts, but not extensively like we've seen with other AIs that have been trained or are being trained with people who are alive today. So that's my thing, especially with people who are long gone like that. Being able to say that you've regenerated that is insane to me, because it's like you have no idea. You just have whatever documentation to go off of that you've thrown into this computer. Now, if it's what you just described, where it's somebody literally training themselves to be themselves, then yeah, that's a little bit different of a story to me. But when it's something along these lines, that that's why these lines are so blurry, right? Because there's so many different directions you can go with it. It's not just like one generalized case, because it's everything. You can do anything and everything. So it's insane to see this. And honestly, very, like, if I had the opportunity, I would definitely go ask it some questions. Just like I go to OpenAI and ask ChatGPT questions whenever, whenever. Honestly, I need Google these days. I haven't been to Google in months. But yeah, that's at least they're trying stuff.
I agree. The older ones, like there's this one that was being touted around for a while saying, oh, an AI that replicates Socrates has been created. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. There's no way that we have enough text or communication with a guy that died thousands of years ago that we could replicate him. Like, we have texts and books, and I'm sure like conversations and letters and whatever regarding the man, but you have to imagine those are very specific.
I mean, it's a snapshot, right? It's a
It's a snapshot in
person's
him.
life.
It's nothing. Yeah, there's no.
So when
the
you talk about
nuances.
somebody training it themselves, then yes. When you talk about other people's training it for something like I did with the Robin Williams thing, other people, many other people saw that as very unethical, which I do understand.
There's
do
a case on that
understand.
today. There's a case
Really?
so the artist FKA Twigs, she is currently training an AI, her own deepfake AI pretty much. And with all of her information about herself, with interacting with it, and her
for what
reason
purpose?
behind it is to pretty much call attention that more tech regulation regarding deep fakes and AI. She was like, look, like, I can do this, and I can do it.
It's so
And
easy.
it's ethical that I'm doing it, but it's, she's that's literally the whole point. She's like, I can do this, and I am not a tech whiz. Like, she's intelligent on her own. Like, this is not just a slight at her intelligence. She is intelligent, but she's saying, look, like, I'm no, AI creator, but I can easily create my own deep fake with such, little time and ease that she's like, I have plans for it to run my social media for me, because it could successfully message other people, make posts, and et cetera, et cetera. So, and she's like, if I can do this, other people can do this unethically.
Which, she's not wrong, right? She's not wrong at all. But that's crazy to think about, because that is something I could see actually getting pushed through if the right people take notice in it. And, eventually leading into a spot where people like us, people like artists or something, are not able to create their own stable diffusion bots or create their own AI models of any sort. Which, honestly, if you're somebody that's doing that right now, could be something incredibly interesting going forward. If that is something that happens, right? You'd be the only person with access to those things, making your work extremely unique. I don't know, dude. Because it's like we're right in the beginning of all this stuff, right? Everything is still being hashed out legally, and we don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know, man. It's very interesting to think about that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't think she's wrong at all in the way she's going about doing that. Truly. And I do kind of disagree on, a crazy amount of regulation for AI, but there definitely needs to be some. So I guess we'll see what they do with that moving forward. Because that is a interesting tactic to do so, because it's like she's just demonstrating the average person has the ability. Because I've done it. I've trained models. It's not for that particular purpose, but for other reasons. And it's not incredibly hard. There's some you can do it just purely text based. Others that you have to actually import data. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
I mean, this is discovery. Everybody's in discovery with AI right now. Guardrails at least need to be put up, some bare minimum stuff to make sure that it's at least aimed in the right direction. But so essentially, and more stuff like that is kind of being focused right now. Not just with creating, deep fakes and all this all this other stuff. Actually, something that everybody has seen, anybody that's ever even Googled AI has seen this topic arise, and that is news, how it's affecting the news. And that's been a huge topic, especially in the USA with the election cycle coming up, is how AI and deep fakes and, and not just for audio, but also text, for fake stories, fake statistics, but written extremely well enough to fool people. And so 8 newspapers are actually put together a lawsuit against OpenAI and Microsoft over their AI. They are all owned by Alden Global Capital, And essentially, just the list, just for everybody wondering, it's the New York Daily News, the Chicago Tribune, the Orlando Sentinel, the Sun Sentinel of Florida, the San Jose Mercury News, the Denver Post, the Orange County Register, and the St. Paul Pioneer Press. Now, as regarding all of those are pretty large publications and reviewed by millions of people, like all over the United States. Those aren't just like they are local, but they are also read by people all over. So pretty massive groups. Now, albeit owned by the same corporation, but still in the U.S. district, copyrighted articles without permission to train and feed their models. And it does not, though the lawsuit does not demand specific monetary damages, it's asking for a jury trial and said that the publishers were owed compensation from the use of the content. So the complaint said the chatbots regularly surface the entire text of articles behind the subscription paywalls for users and often did not prominently link back to the source. This, it said, reduced the need for readers to pay subscriptions to support local newspapers and deprive the publishers of revenue from both subscriptions and licensing their content elsewhere. So, honestly, this is something that I feel like a lot of people saw coming. I feel like the writing was on the wall, like extremely easy to read. That's just how it is. You know, everything was used as training for these models. Everything. There wasn't, some sort of secret stuff. They sourced everything that they possibly could from Google, the internet, you name it. If it was out there, they sourced it to train these AI models. So it would make sense that they scraped from artists that didn't want to be scraped, newspapers that didn't want to be scraped, books that didn't want to be scraped, YouTube videos that didn't want to be scraped. But if it's out there and readily available, I could see why they thought that it would be, and just like, detaching my own opinion of it and looking at it from they're looking at, I could see where they would be like, oh yeah, it's already out there. Might as well. So I think that we're seeing a lot of guardrails starting to be popped up on this. There's not a lot of overall regulation in this space whenever it regards to AI. There's been a lot of public outcry as far as, hey, there needs to be some sort of, stop developing it, like with Elon Musk and Microsoft and all those other companies. OpenAI signed that agreement saying, hey, we're going to pause on the development of AI because it's going too fast. And I doubt anybody actually followed that. It was nothing but to favor Curry with the public in all seriousness. Hey, what's up, PJ?
What's going on, guys? I have a thought on that. It's interesting because if we put in place guardrails to stop the access of John Q. Public, that's not going to stop the people that have the means and the finances to do it on their own. And then it's an unfair advantage to which others will not have the knowledge and understanding of the potential hazards that would be being thrown at them, right? So let's imagine that there are already guardrails in place and the only people who had access to it were the government. So if we were actually concerned about government misuse and abuse of that type of technology themselves, we would be unaware of it altogether because we wouldn't have access. We would think that's not even possible. So I think the hazards are just as warranted to allow as are the potential benefits. You can't legislate effectiveness. It's been proven over and over again. You can't put guardrails around something where if anybody else has access, that makes sense.
I understand the fear of that, of like having a government say, "Oh, hey, just don't even worry about it. We're gonna make sure you can't use it anyways." I understand that, but whenever it comes to such an extensive piece of technological evolution, such as AI, I mean, truthfully, this is something that everyday people, can easily abuse in ways that we're seeing. Blockchain that was being used to cover up the world that we are living in. the fact we will never live in a world where such a technology can exist without any regulation.
Well, see,
Like there has to be consequences to people abusing it.
But consequences and regulation are two different things. Taking away the ability to commit a crime versus saying you will be punished if you commit a crime are not one and the same. Because you can take away the ability to, you can take away the ability to commit a crime, yet people will still commit a crime. The question is, what are the repercussions of that crime? If that is not the end all, then you're not going to do prevention. Prevention just doesn't work. It's just, I lock my doors at night because I want to make it harder for somebody, just like technology. We build barriers so that it makes it harder to commit the crime, because we know no matter what we put in place, it's never going to be protected, right? I mean, so that alluding to who has the access and who does not would prevent it, would create this potential for criminal activity all the more. Wolves go where the sheep are. So you're going to find people that take advantage. Unfortunately, the sad commentary is that that's just the human condition. The part of removing accessibility removes the potential for more.
I think we just lost them, but I will say, PJ, whenever it comes to regulation, this isn't necessarily stating, none of what I've set up here has brought into account or directly said, hey, we're going to take this technology away. None of it has said that. All of it has been around the regulation regarding the consequences of using copyrighted material, and making sure that if people are using these copyrighted materials, they will find consequences for their actions. And that type of regulation, which I do think is a form of regulation, because, I mean, legally speaking, it is a form of regulation. That's how they regulate a lot of things. I mean, hell, we're seeing that with crypto, is the legal consequences of misusing a piece of technology. That's a form of regulation. They're regulating how people can interact with it. All this, we're coming from news agencies saying, "Hey, we don't want copyrighted material to be be used training these AI systems." Musicians, they don't want their music. Right now, there's the No Fakes Act would give legal recourse for artists to go towards if their digital likeness has been used without their permission. Again, that's regulation. And then there's also the Twigs. She's making sure she's doing her own her own lawsuit against them, saying, hey, we need more regulation, not just for deep fakes against artists, but deep fakes against public figures, deep fakes against the regular individual. All of these things are forms of regulation to make sure that if people choose to misuse this technology, that they ultimately can't regulate in the sense of access, because most of the stuff is open source. People can easily just go out and make it. So it's easy to create, but as long as there's legal recourse for the people that don't want their stuff to be used in that way, that again, it's hey guys, we either need to make this stuff or can help poison it. I think that it's a good regulatory approach for repercussions to be made.
Well, there are carte blanche would actually limit their exposure and sued by Napster or taking things out, and they can do about it. We've already seen it in law. Dave Bowie's music has been used and in other compilations with no compensation, simply because they changed the tempo. They changed a beat. They changed something very minor in making it unique. So if they were to poison their music, well, they might go into obscurity, and that would be okay. And that's unfortunate, because they could be losing out on extremely good talent. I can't imagine that somebody believes their worth is so great that they couldn't share it, at least, to have other people utilize it. That's a different issue altogether. From a legal standpoint, yeah, All I know is that if I used it and I used it for a specific reference, and I'll give you another good example. I was at work and we had these monitors in for like pornography, that people should not be using pornography in their daily work life. We almost fired a guy because he was looking up the plastics that are used in condoms for a lubricant that he needed on a seal for a high pressure vessel. He was trying to research. I almost got him fired. That's because we're not actually just blindly turning things off and saying, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. So there is kind of a cautionary piece in there that you never know how it can impact downstream with just an arbitrary broad stroke of, no, you can't use this, and here's what I'm going to do to stop it. And so I don't think legislatively that's okay either.
It's the one thing that the beauty of America, though, is that since it is their art, they can do whatever they want with it. If they want to say, hey, I'm going to spite my own face and cut off my nose to, and by saying I'm going to poison my own work so that if AI scrapes it, it's going to poison the AI. If that's something that they want to do, they can do it. And personally, while I am pro AI, I also realize that if artists decide that they themselves do not want to participate in the training of AI, that is their own prerogative, and they should be able to say, you know what, I don't want this to be used to train. I get that. I may not want. To me, I'm like, damn, I really want all this stuff to be used. But you know what? If they don't want to, then that's their choice.
I agree, and that's where legislative pieces should not tell you can if not, though. I agree with you.
They need legal protection if it is still done, though.
Well, they have that. They would have to prove it in a court of law, just like Metallica or anybody else would have to prove it. They don't get it just because they claim it. They have to be able to prove it. But that's the thing, though. Even in the court of law right now, currently,
we've seen lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit of people trying to sue OpenAI and Midjourney and everything like that. It hasn't been terribly successful because there's no legal precedent for them to fall back on, stating, hey, what you did is illegal. That's what they're trying to clarify, which I think is a correct permission. I can sue them, be able to legally protect it.
I've written scripture. Shakespeare is a reference here.
That's because it falls back under how long. Copyright law only goes back so many years. That's because it's too old.
To go through a process to earn a copyright.
Yes. So whenever at a certain point, I think it's like 80 years or so after, it will not fall under legal decades now. If they don't want to engage in it, they shouldn't be forced to. However, I digress. It's a pretty complicated conversation. I'm going to cover a couple more things. So in regards to something that we've been covering for months now, that is CZ from Binance, the founder of Binance. He finally got sentenced to prison. Whenever I get out, his educational company called Billing or something like that. Oh my goodness, I always forget what it's actually. Giggle. There it is. So it's the Giggle Academy. It's an online educational platform for students from literally like first grade to high school. It's kind of like Khan Academy in a way. And so that his whole goal is to make basic education accessible and addictive and adaptive for the kids who don't have access to it, all around the world, which honestly, things like that, such as Khan Academy, I love those kind of initiatives. I think that education is always important and should be accessible to anybody, no matter what their socioeconomic or geographical standing is. So, you know what? This man has brought us Binance, and now he's bringing us mass education. So, you know what? Mass adoption, mass education, I'm all calm. They have partnered shot, and you got to take it, as he said, and he did. He took the mantle from Crypto.com's spokesperson, from Matt Damon, and released. If you go to we're posting the article that covers this from Cointelegraph up in the nest and down in the comments here. But you go to that article, and they have a link to his post on X of it. And I'll be real with you guys, it follows his Cinderella Man story, and that in his song Cinderella Man. So it's like the boxer, he's going into the ring, and it's like Cinderella Man, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like fortune favors the brave, the staying crypto.com and everything like that. I'll be real with you. It was kind of too on the nose and almost like serious, in my opinion. They did the same thing with Matt Damon. I'm a crypto.com fan, but I think both of those instances, I really think they took themselves too seriously. And so people really didn't like feel overly accepting whenever he posted it. Comments were kind of brutal. And I can see why it was a little cringy, but it is interesting. You know, we're seeing him come into this, which if you look at it, zoom out a little bit, makes a little bit of sense considering his close relationship with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, who have been large advocates to the Web3 space and blockchain technology. I mean, hell, Snoop Dogg put Death Row Records on the blockchain. So, I mean, it's not crazy to see this happen, but still. But either way, still a pretty interesting update. I will say that, or that he
Don't
will
even
ever release,
bring up
right?
Don't even bring up rehab to me. But you know what is a known thing to happen, no matter like death and taxes almost. Missed bull market. Two things are going to happen. Lots of fake accounts going to pop up about the trending topics, and some rapper is going to get involved with the space in some way. And we've seen it over and over in the past couple of years. But it's really cool to see, you know, Eminem jump in here. That's honestly, that's his biggest Snoop Dogg launch. I'm you know, Snoop Dogg has launched multiple of his own projects. We're actually a holder of a Snoop Dogg avatar character for the Sandbox game. And let me tell you, floor price not doing too great. Definitely took an L on that one. I'm very wary about celebrities launching projects because normally it's not the celebrity that's actually launched. It's a team of people behind them. And at least 2 to 3 years ago, most of the time it'd just be like a random person that reached out, and then they're like, oh yeah, sure. You know, and then the team rugs and the celebrities kind of like left in the dust there. But yeah. So, I mean, but overall huge to see Eminem step in here. I really, really hope we see some sort of rap about crypto come out. I truly doubt it. But,
I don't.
You know,
oh my God. What?
You don't?
I don't want to hear Eminem rap about crypto. I'll
But look forward to catch up with you guys later.
all right. See you, dude.
Fantastic, DJ.
So nice talking.
Best of luck at the meeting. Yeah.
All right,
but
people.
overall, guys. Yeah, I think we're about to wrap up and get out of here. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting one. If you're interested in some of the latest happenings in the space, go down, hit that little purple pill in the bottom right, and check out all the news stories, or just go back and listen to the space, or go check it out on YouTube. It's also streaming live on YouTube right now, so we can all say we're YouTubers. Your profiles are up over there as well. Hop in the Discord if you're not there already. We have tons and tons of artist opportunities. Looking to get some new things popping up here very soon. So keep an eye out on that announcement channel. And, you know, as per usual, stay creative, stay yourself. Don't let anybody tell you no different. Stay inside, watch some charts, go outside, touch some grass, up to you. But make sure you do it in the way you want to do it. And remember, find your inspiration with Pixel Palette Nation. We'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of the evenings.
Word up. Gonna lose yourself in the blockchain. Hawking chains. Waka, waka, waka.
Oh, that's so terrible. That's so terrible. The YouTube stream is going to have actual, like, oh, man. Oh, that's what a way to end it. What a way.
Inspiration at Pixel Palette Nation. Adoration. Find your inspiration at Pixel Palette Nation. Operation at Pixel Palette Nation. Find your inspiration. nation, a pixel